Hey guys, it is Chad here from the Battle Warrior Podcast, and I'm just letting all you listeners know that the Battle Warrior Podcast episodes will be available across all podcast platforms, guys. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this brand new episode today. Hey guys, welcome to Battle Warrior Podcast. I am Chad. We have a good guest. Actually, he's part of the group that we are all part of, and actually might be another group that I'm part of too that I just joined a couple of weeks ago here. But coming out of the inner circle, guys, we just want Matt, or just I'm going to call you Roda Challenge. But hey, man, Matt Roda.
Roda Challenge is cool too.
Yeah, we're joking around here, guys, but we're already going. But I'm just going to jump in the Roda Challenge, and we're going to launch it that way. But I know we have a couple different names we're going to call it here. But he is one ripped up motherfucker, and I'm going to say it that way. We all kind of compete against each other in a healthy way. 3 times 75 hard finisher, ultra runner who runs circles around even me, 225 plus miles last year. Best-selling author, owner of multiple businesses, patriotic, rebel. I mean, we can go down, but welcome to the show, man.
Appreciate it, man. Happy to be here.
Oh, and forgot to mention from Pennsylvania, guys.
Yes, sir.
There's a Green Bay versus whatever, but we'll just leave that for a different time. But the reason why we jumped on the show here, guys, is I just want to bring up, obviously we kind of both reached out to each other. At the beginning, we were going to talk about stories, and I'm like, hey, let's do a curveball and talk about pissing people off today. And only reason is, like we're wearing you guys aren't going to see this because this is audio, but I got my old Patriot shirt from Ian. You got Andy's shirt on, and I'm like, two brothers that are just fighting the system is perfect. So
yeah, hell yeah.
Well, I was going to say, let's just jump into the topic here about let's jump into the inner circle, because I know that's a big theme that we're jumping in. And how long you been with them?
Probably about, I don't know. When did it start? I feel like I didn't jump in right away, but soon after. So has it been a year now, or a little over a year, a little under a year?
I'm a newbie, man. I jumped in October. So
yeah, it probably about a year seems about like the right answer. In my mind, who knows? It's probably been like 4 years. I'm saying a year, but no, I think pretty much when I saw he was putting it out there, and I followed Mike for a bunch of years, social media, and just like the content he was producing, who he was. So when he came up with this idea, I was like, yeah. And then like the price point, I was like, why would I not join this group of people and like, similar mentality, patriots, people who want to screw the system and be successful. Like they're right in my alley.
And I was going to say, what is he at now? 250 people, if not more?
I would say probably 250, 270, somewhere in that range. Yeah.
And I will plug them here, guys. Go visit mikesinnercircle.com. Monthly fees, what, $17.76?
$17.76. Yeah. Yep.
It will pay for itself for the first day you're on the call.
Yep. Yeah. Join. And then I would highly suggest he does like 1 or 2 calls a month. One of those calls is usually just the members jumping on a Zoom call and like sharing our challenges and opportunities. Those are the ones I make sure that I'm on, because that's where you connect with people, and just like some of the relationships I've built through that circle in the last 6 months or 12 months, whatever it's been. Yeah. The investment is like, it's nominal compared to the value that you get.
Yeah. And I'm the same way, guys. A lot of these people in the group were down in Texas where I was a couple of weeks ago. Some of them didn't go because of COVID, whatever. And I don't know, I'm not going to answer for your end of it, but the opportunity to be around all these people for very slim investment, and I'm going to say it that way, versus some of these groups that are out there, is just astronomical, or whatever that word is, to what the value you get out of it. So guys, like, stop drinking coffee for 2 damn days and pay this. It's worth it that much. So
skip a movie a weekend.
Yeah. But let's dig into creating your own workout program. Because I know we were talking about on the last call, and I'm like, oh, dude, we got to make a new name for this. So explain to everyone, you're like me, and and just by talking into the video, I can notice you're like a very, I don't want to use the term addicting personality, not that, but like a high
Oh yeah.
achiever.
Yeah.
So like
No,
we push.
addictive personality is very fair. I've labeled myself that for years, and I've come to grips with that's just like how I'm wired. And growing up, I'm not going to get into it, but from like 16 to 33, I was addicted to all the wrong things, all different types of drugs. And then I replaced that addiction with fitness at like 33, 34. And, you know, I never say I'm an addict, and I don't like the term addict because I feel like it's a label and you can shed, like, labels come and go, but addictive personality, 100%, that describes me well. And I've just chosen to funnel that addictive personality in the right direction at this point.
Yeah. And that's what I'm explaining to people. So like some of you guys that, you know, are, I don't use the term addicted because it's just whatever. So like you have a crutch to get through certain days.
Yep.
What it is when you see a lot of us have that backstory where it's the same similar stuff. So instead of being attached to something different, we're just like all in on business, all in on something we love to do. Obviously, I went from not running to 225 miles last year. I did get hurt. So now I'm rebuilding myself back up there. But looking at, what you're doing with the ultra running, did you run a marathon last weekend on your treadmill?
That's this Saturday. It's in 2 days. That's the goal. But I'm debating. I posted that, and then like a day later, I'm like, it's supposed to snow here in PA, and I'm like, it'd kind of be cool to run. I have a half a mile loop around my neighborhood, and that's when I did this thing to honor my dad last year when he passed. I did that loop. I think it came out to like 160 times. It was 67 miles of just running a half mile loop for like 14 hours. So now I'm kind of like, maybe I just want to run that loop for a marathon in the snow, because like that would also suck instead of doing it on the treadmill. So we'll see. I'm waiting to see the weather forecast tomorrow, and then I'll make my last game time decision. But yeah, it's either treadmill or a loop over and over again to hit 26.2.
And I'm going to dig deeper into that, because people asked me last year, why did you run a half marathon? So this year is my marathon. So I'm a few years behind you on that, just for the challenges. But people are like, you went off the couch, previous life, whatever, fixed your, completely flipped your life around. Why are you doing a half marathon? And I use the analogy of, guys, like, if I can't run a half marathon, I can't run a business. So it's like business in the same thing you're probably doing through just with the ultra run and marathon run. It's like you build up, we know the end date of the race, but you still got to get, structurally sound. You still got to get everything set up properly to get to that. Obviously those first couple of miles are great because your body's just like, oh yeah, whatever. And then the high kicks in and you don't remember half of it.
Yep.
And then the last 3 miles suck.
Yep.
And everyone they're like, you're nuts. I'm like, no, if I can't go through the process of exactly how that is, how am I going to develop, successfully run a business?
Yep.
So are 100%. You on that same line?
Exactly. Yeah. I don't like running. Like, when I get it and people are like, how do you run 50-mile races and not like running? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I like doing things that make me uncomfortable. I like proving to myself I can do things that I don't really want to do or like to do. And it translates into business. Like you said, man, it's just, for me, it's a matter of discipline. Like, when I create discipline in my life and structure and routine, I thrive, whether that's fitness, business, relationships, whatever it is. I just find I'm at my best when I put myself in those situations. So from a fitness perspective and, running specifically, that's what it is. Like, I like having something on my calendar that I know, okay, 3 months or 2 months, whatever it is, I have this big goal that I'm going to go after. And if I want to achieve that, I know, going backwards in time, I got to achieve certain little incremental accomplishments to get to the point where I feel like it's safe for me to do that. And I'm going out there knowing I'm going to finish no matter what, no matter how long it takes me. If I hurt myself, like, as long as I'm not crippled, like, I'm going to push through it. So yeah, it's all interchangeable between fitness, life, business, all the above.
Yeah. And it's really, and I'm going to do the moment of the race. It's almost like you just show up. You're like, I got this. Yep. I mean, and it's not so much that I didn't even care about the race, honest. Like, I showed up and I was trying to beat someone else that was in the race, but that's just me. But in general, going through the race, I'm like, this is not as bad as what people thought.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden at the end, it's like, holy cow, I actually did way better than I thought.
Just did it. Yep.
Yeah. And it's what I noticed after doing that. And like I said, I'm going to be going in the marathon level here, is the separation of the groups of people going up the ladder. So like, you had your 5K people, you have your 10K, your 15, whatever. And the excuses are the same the further up you go. It's like, oh,
Exactly.
you're crazy. You're going to the next level. And I, like I said, I'm further behind you on the levels. We're getting there, but it's like the excuses are the same all the way
Yeah.
up the levels.
Yep.
And I'm just like, guys, it's just a fucking race.
Yeah. It's one foot in front of the other. Like, and I never go to these races thinking like, hell yeah, I'm going to win. Like, I know I'm not that athlete. I don't train to win. Like, there's people that dedicate their lives to this stuff and like way faster than me and like way more endurance. So I go out as like, it's a personal quest and that's it. Like, and I don't, it could be, and I literally do that sometimes. Like Saturday, I'm probably just going to run 26.2 by myself. Like, I don't care if there's people around me. I'm not competing against anybody. It's not about the fanfare. Like, it's just me with me and my own thoughts doing what I set out to do. And at the end of the day, being like, okay, check, did it. Like, what's next? And just keep like, put notches on the belt in life.
Yeah. And well, I was gonna say, since the passion of that, and I know we were going prior, you want to dig deep into that program you're trying to develop here?
Yeah. So last year I did 75 hard. I started January 1st, did 75 hard. I would say 98% successfully. So, which, if you have Andrew Purcell as a listener, like, he's going to be like, he fucking didn't do it. And he's right. Like, and with like the 2% that I don't give myself credit for was like, I'll give one example. When you read a book, you're supposed to read 10 pages. And I would say, okay, I'm starting on page 1 and I'm going to get to page 10. There's 10 pages. And if page 9 was like a blank page because it was like the end of a chapter, or whatever, I was counting that as like my 10 pages. And, I like to hold myself to a high standard. So during it, I really wasn't like nitpicking it. And I felt like I was accomplishing it. And then I got to the end and I kind of like looked back and I was like, you know what? Like, I kind of cut that corner. And like the whole idea of his program is like, you don't fucking cut corners. Like, it's a 45-minute workout. If you end at 44:59, like, you failed, like, go back. You miss one photo, you fail, you go back. So I felt good that I did it, and it brought about a lot of good change. I was reading consistently and I was drinking water. So I definitely progressed, but I felt like I left some stuff on the table. So I think I took, I think I took like 2 months off, and I completely derailed, like stopped reading, like was drinking water, but not enough. I still was doing my workouts because that's part of my life. I love doing that. But like I said earlier, like, discipline is my best friend. So like, I lost that strict discipline and I started kind of floating a little bit and getting distracted easily. And I just did not feel like my elite self. So after like 2 months of that, I was like, fuck that. Like, I'm going back, I'm doing it again. And this time I'm like, I'm not cutting corners. So I made sure the second time around, like so I think that started in like early summer, maybe end of fall or end of spring, whatever. Second time around, I was like, okay, definitely going to read like 13 to 14 pages. That way I'm not cutting that corner. Like, my workouts are going to be 47 minutes. That way I'm never accidentally going under. So I did do all those things. Some of my workouts, like, I would run, my outdoor workout, generally speaking, was like 5 or 6 days of running, like 5 miles. And then I would occasionally power walk, like, with my family. And, again, the program is different for everybody, the 75 hard program. So some people would be like, yeah, walking is an outdoor workout, like, that counts. And for some people, I 100% agree. But me holding myself to my standards, I got to the end of this round and I was like, fuck, like, I did everything right. Like, reading, water, workouts, but my workouts, like, was that power walk? Like, did that really count as a workout, or is that me just like recovering and kind of being lazy? So I literally took a week off and was like, fuck that, I'm doing it again. So I like took a week off, like, ate whatever I wanted to eat. And I was like, okay, I'm starting again. I think that was October 9th, 2 days after my birthday. And I had timed it out that it was like the day before Christmas I was going to end. And this time, like, I checked all the boxes. I still walked like 1 or 2 days a week, but I threw a 40-pound vest on and like rucked. And I felt like, okay, that's physically challenging enough that I can count this as a workout. But yeah, so I did all that, I guess, to get to the point of my idiotic challenge that I'm doing myself now. And I love everything about it, and I have nothing negative to say about the program. The only thing I was like, okay, I want to do something where I can do it like 365 days a year. And I was thinking like, okay, 75 hard feasible for me to do 365 days a year? Probably, if I really, really, really wanted to, but ultimately I didn't really, really, really want to do that 365 days in a row. And the reason for that is I wanted to like incorporate, if I want a rest day, that I could take a rest day. Cause like physically working out twice a day for 365 days in a row, I'm going to be 40 this year. I'm like, it's possible. And like, I could probably do it smartly, strategically, and not injure myself. But I'm like, I read a lot of books and I study fitness, and like recovery is important. So I was like, do I want to like put myself at risk with injury with like two little kids? I'm like, not really. So that was kind of my first, like, maybe I'll just come up with my own idea, and incorporate, like, if I want to take a rest day, I could take a rest day. With that said, I still do 2 workouts a day. One of them is outside. But yeah, if I want to like take Sunday off to just decompress and like chill with my family, like I'm giving myself that and still considering staying in my program that I created. And another part was one treat meal or cheat meal, whatever you want to call it, once per week. And again, like, Andy's, and I love the guy and I respect the shit out of him and everything he's created, but I'm like, do I want to go 365 days? Is it possible? Yes. Would it be enjoyable? And do I want to do it? No. Like, I want to be able to like be super strict for 165 hours of the week, and then give myself a 3-hour window where I can eat a cheeseburger sub if I want it, or I can eat some chips or like a chocolate chip cookie with my kids or whatever it is. So those were the 2 kind of things where I was like, okay, if I really want to do this every single day in 2022, I don't think I would successfully accomplish that, because in my mind, I'm like, I just don't want to go to that extreme for 365 days. So I basically came up with my own program. And it's super in depth. I don't know if you want me to like go into each thing that I'm doing, but there's certain things I'm doing on a daily basis that I have to check off. And then there's certain things I'm doing on a weekly basis that I have to check off. And then there's certain things I'm doing on a monthly basis that I had to check off in order for me to be able to like go to my Instagram story at the end of the day and say, okay, day 26, check, and give myself the credit for accomplishing that specific day.
Yeah. To me, what it sounded like is you got your own program coming down the pipeline that people need to pay attention to. Is what I don't know if you're going to be doing that as fun, whatever, but to me, it sounds like if anyone wants to join in and stuff, just pay attention to exactly what's going on your end and your Instagram. Yeah. Where would people reach out to you for that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely Instagram, send me a message. It's just at Matthew Roda. Same with Facebook, at Matthew Roda. I did a video, which is out of my norm. It's one of the things I'm forcing myself to do with this program, is to shoot 3 like videos for social media per week. I'd feel uncomfortable on video. Like, I hate like holding the camera and talking to it. And then I listen to it, I'm like, God, I sound like such a dork. And like, it's way out of my comfort zone, but I know I need to do video. Like, all the internet marketing guys say it, and gals, and like, just, watching people in Mike's inner circle, like, crushing it with video. I'm like, I can do that. I need to do it. So that's one of the things that I do. But yeah, I mean, if you're interested in knowing what I'm doing, like what app I use to track it, because I found this awesome app that basically like every day it lists the mission critical things, and then you put a checkbox, and then it shows you your streaks, and like if you miss certain days, like percentage wise. So it just that's the one thing I loved about 75 Hard, was that app, like being able to see it and check things off on a daily basis and hold myself accountable. So yeah, if you're interested in the details and you want to do it with me, or you just want to learn more, shoot me a message. And like, I love connecting with people who are as crazy as I am and want to accomplish stuff in life and just kind of live outside the norm. So I'm happy to help in any way that I can.
Yeah. And he definitely reached out to me, and I'm sure when the snow gets released and the ice gets released here and it's not -15 out, I'm probably going to end up doing it next summer.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be, I actually have 5.2 mile obstacle course this weekend in the snow. So we're going to see how that rolls out. So